What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with Henry Wilson. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. Today, you're taking a look at the 8-game main slate over on DraftKings for Tuesday here. Henry, it's a pretty interesting slate here given the pitching matchups. For me, it's very top heavy, and the field is also going in there. There are a couple of value pitchers, but for 8 games, I don't really have a large pitcher player pool. There are some offensive matchups that I do like targeting. And, of course, we also have Coors Field on this slate that we have to consider if we want to take any part of the Giants-Rockies matchup here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mostly agree with you. I do think there are some cheap pitching options that I do really like today, but other than the couple that stand out, it's a more top heavy for sure. And then, obviously there's always Coors, but do you really want to target either the Rockies or the Giants offenses, even in Coors? I don't know.
Yeah, the value on some plays, I think on the Giants side is interesting. We don't often go too much when it comes to the Rocky side of things. We appreciate you all tuning in here today. If you haven't already hit that like button, that thumbs up button, a free way to support what we do here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. Of course, if you subscribe, we always go live here 4 p.m. Eastern time to break down the main slate. Let's waste no time jumping into things here today. As we mentioned, your top 2 price starters are where the field is looking at here. We got the show at home against the Padres. You got Yamamoto at home against the Marlins. The top 2 rookie pitchers in baseball on this slate, both up over $10,000. Yamamoto minus 300 favorite there with the Dodgers today, a couple $100 cheaper than Imanaga going up against the Padres. If you had to pick one today, Henry, which way do you lean?
Yeah, it's tough because they're both really good. I think you go to either one. I think there's arguments for both of them. They're kind of interesting matchups because both Miami and San Diego don't strike out a whole ton.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think Yamamoto does give more win potential. But if I have to pick one, I'm still going Imanaga. He's been the better out of the 2 so far. He just has rolled right into the majors and been awesome. He continues to just go out and rack up strikeouts and pitch quality innings. He has now won his last 4 starts, and he's won 5 of his 6 starts. So, he's been pitching super well. 7 strikeouts in each of the last 2 outings and only given up 1 run over that 13.1 innings. So he's just pitching so good at the top of his game right now that if I'm going to go up there, I'm probably going to go with Imanaga.
Yeah, I got to get your thoughts here. We do the underdog, prize picks, sleeper articles over at Fantasy Alarm. I write those up. They use FanDuel scoring over there where you don't lose points for hits or runs. It's really quality starts, earned runs allowed, wins, and things like that. Imanaga's point prop today is only at 28.5, and I thought that was wildly low considering his recent stretch. And sometimes you wonder if, maybe Vegas knows or the lines know, or do you ever take any of those little things into consideration? That feels like it should be 40, not 28.
No, I try not to read too much into it because maybe they just got it wrong. Because that just seems, especially when you're talking about the quality start ad.
Yeah.
The only 2 outings he doesn't have a quality start. He didn't give up an earned run. He just didn't make it the 6 innings.
Mm-hmm.
That was early in the season. So what are the odds he doesn't, even if he doesn't get you a win, he's probably going to get you a quality start.
Right. Yeah. So 28.5. I have that in the underdog and prize picks article that I wrote up over at Fantasy Alarm. You can check that. Of course, I went with the over on that one because again, it just felt too low. It was over in 4 straight starts as it is. In those ones. So you got him, and then Yamamoto was 38.5, which is still kind of high, but he's gone over that in 3 of his last 4 outings as well. I think both of those guys are going to be in play. When you look at sort of the rest of the top tier starting pitchers, you have Reynaldo Lopez. You'll see the Boston Red Sox, and you'll think you can start guys against them early on in the season. That was true. Lately, though, they've been a pain in the neck trying to pitch against. They beat Joe Ryan the other day. They have some representative, MLB players in their lineup that they're signing and they're producing right away. So you got Lopez, you got Verlander in New York. You're not going to go Cabrera, obviously, against the Dodgers. Cutter Crawford, who we played a lot, got Atlanta. What are your thoughts when it comes to the next grouping after Yamamoto and Shota?
Yeah, that group of guys, I really don't want to touch them because I think the only one that like is sort of intriguing is Reynaldo Lopez because he does have that strikeout upside. But like Boston still scares me. Like they are still a good offense, and like Verlander, who's not getting strikeouts, having to pitch in New York. Not throwing Edward Cabrera Dodgers. I love Cutter Crawford, but I'm not going with him against the Braves either. No. Like, why would I go all of these guys when I can go to the cheaper end and take like Bailey Ober against the Mariners or Seth Lugo against the Brewers, who are both also quality pitchers in way better matchups?
Yep. Okay. Justin, always in the chat, always in the Discord. We appreciate you popping in here today, man. He likes Kyle Harrison, Bailey Ober, Seth Lugo. Bender mentioned Kyle Harrison as a pitcher pitching in Coors. We haven't been as afraid of going starters in Coors this year because of how bad the Rockies have been. And then you got Lugo and Ober. Ober was my first look today. Again, we go over this almost every slate that Bailey Ober's on, that he's in this like 7K, sometimes 6K range. You're coming off of a less than okay outing, got the win. Obviously, the White Sox, their offense has started to come up a little bit here, but Seattle still struggling to score runs, still striking out a lot. Bailey Ober finding himself, I think, in a really good spot today. Plus, Minnesota, on the other hand, going up against Emerson Hancock, favored to win in this game.
Yeah, I know we were in on Bailey Ober last outing, and it wasn't exactly what it wanted against the White Sox, but that doesn't hesitate me at all to jump right in. Despite me wearing a Mariners shirt today, I'm not in on the Mariners. I like their offense, has just still not been clicking. They're striking out over 29% of the time against right-handers. Like, I just think this is too good of a spot for Bailey Ober, who again started the season as a 9K pitcher.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know why you wouldn't go straight to Bailey Ober at this price throwing against the Mariners.
Yeah, the Algo still hasn't figured it out that it's 4.5 ERAs because of one start, it seems like. Everything else has been pretty solid here. Cam the Man's in back-to-back 30 fantasy point games. I pointed this out to Howard. He wasn't the biggest Seth Lugo fan today. Milwaukee throwing a lot of lefties in their lineup generally. Feels like this could be a tougher spot. I like Lugo just as a pitcher in general, and then he's done nothing to really deter me, off of that. Do you have any worries on Lugo today against Milwaukee?
No, I was a big Seth Lugo fan coming into the season, and like to start the year, like the strikeouts weren't really there. Like all of his first 5 outings, his highest he ever hit was 4. And so but the thing is, he was still pitching really well. He just wasn't getting strikeouts. I really wasn't sure what was going on. But then last 2 outings, he gets 9 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts. So no, I'm a big Lugo believer, and especially now that the strikeouts are back, the matchup against Milwaukee, even with them like throwing the lefties in there, it really doesn't scare me all that much. They're still going to strike out a fair amount, and I just do believe in Lugo as a pitcher. So not afraid of it. He's, I think, easily my number 2 behind Ober today.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I've even toyed with some builds where I faded the top price pitchers and went double mid tier just to kind of get more bats. In the lineup there, wanting to get the Dodgers, against Cabrera, knowing what he's got the propensity to do, kind of like we saw last night. Fully on board with you on that aspect as well. Would you go Harrison all the way down to $6,400? We like the talent that this kid has. Any worries about him in Coors?
Yeah, I am a little worried. And again, I'm not someone who I'm never going to throw anyone in Coors. I will go into Coors, especially with this bad Rockies offense. But Harrison is already so volatile. He walks a lot of guys. He can just give up hard contact too. At some starts, he goes out there and he's amazing. He's got the upside. I think he's going to be a great pitcher, but he's just so shaky still. And so you're taking a shaky guy into Colorado. It scares me a little bit that I don't think there's enough of a price discount behind the guys like Ober and Lugo for me to consider going Harrison.
Sure. Any other starting pitchers on your radar today?
No, not really. Again, once you get down here, Ober and Lugo are so cheap that I don't think the rest of the guys underneath them are cheap enough, considering they all bring no upside basically after you get past Kyle Harrison.
I agree with you. Bender brought up Jose Budo as an option just because the Cardinals lineup's been very iffy this year. As a guy that could rack up maybe some strikeouts today. He's fine. Again, when you're talking about where his price point is and when Ober and Lugo are cheaper, you're outside of just being different in tournaments, he's not a core play for me today.
Yeah, I agree. I like him. Cardinals lineup has not been great. He does have the strikeout upside. I think if you didn't have those cheap guys of Ober and Lugo, and I was just comparing him to all those guys above him, I would absolutely be going to Budo. But I think I don't like him as much as, again, Ober and Lugo, but I do think he is a decent option. If for some reason you aren't believing in those guys.
Sure. I agree with you there. Moving on over to the catcher position again. This is a spot where we get official lineups, so more than likely to kind of take the cheap way out. Again, having cores on the field, on the slate, you have Elias Diaz all the way up to $4,800. Probably not going to go there, but Jacob Stallings has been really hitting the ball well. If you're not on Kyle Harrison today, 3,800, the guy's hitting 350. He's got a couple of homers lately. You got the righty-lefty matchup. Stallings at 38 looks pretty good. Again, I don't find myself often playing Rockies, but this could be a particular instance where I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Stallings has been a good hitting catcher really his entire career. Like, he was pretty solid with the Pirates as well. Like, he's fit into this Rockies lineup good. So yeah, I don't want to pay all the way up for Elias Diaz. If I'm going to go for one of those catchers in Colorado, or, most of the bats in Colorado, honestly, is probably going to be Jacob Stallings. He's one of the better ones, I think, today.
Yep, agreed. Anybody else down here for you as we get a little bit cheaper? Got Reese McGuire in the lineup at $3,100. Obviously the Mets catchers will be down there. I think Narvaez may play today since he didn't play yesterday. Anything for you?
Yeah, obviously you can go really cheap. Those Mets catchers are going to be cheap, and maybe they'll provide something. I don't mind going either Reese McGuire or Jose Trevino. I know Verlander is still a decent pitcher, but he's not what he used to be. He's not striking guys out. So getting him in New York, you never know if you might get some value there. And again, McGuire hitting in a pretty good Red Sox lineup. I think he can sometimes provide good value against right-handers. So I'm fine with those options of staying cheap. Yep,
I'm with you there. Again, 8 games, not many. We in the past we'd played Campusano. You're not going to do it against Imanaga. We like Ober, so we're not going to play Cal Raleigh. Yonder Diaz price coming down a little bit, but Louis Gill. So I'm kind of sitting with Stallings or McGuire mostly for me today. First base. We saw Ohtani and Freeman go back-to-back last night. If you had the money to stack them, that one certainly paid off. What are your thoughts spinning up here?
Yeah, you can't ignore Ohtani and Freeman still. I think it's really fun to try to find ways to build lineups where you can put Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman all in it. You basically have to pay down everywhere, but those three are just so freaking good that it can usually pay off even if you get very little production from everywhere else. Those three can stack up so many points together. So yeah, I still love Freeman and Ohtani in this matchup. Again, Edward Cabrera is a decent pitcher. He has that strikeout upside. I don't think he's going to be good enough to keep down this Dodgers lineup, especially the top of it. They're just too good.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think I saw a stat today that Ohtani was on pace for 450 total bases or something like that, which is
ridiculous.
A ridiculous, astronomical number.
Rehabbing from Tommy John right now, by the way.
Yeah, right.
But it's absurd.
Exactly. So yeah, it's crazy numbers that he puts up. After that, kind of go down into the mid tier. I think for me, if you wanted Alonso against Miles Mikolas, sure, but Vinny Pasquantino, I'll be willing to go back to the Royals after what they did to us last night. The Michael Massey homer came through for us, but nothing else happened for us. And I'll play Massey. We'll get to him in a second as well. But you got Pasquantino again at $4,500 there in the mid tier. Bender chesting out Bush. And then, finally, Lamonte Wade, I mention him every stream. He's a little bit more expensive than he usually is, but this is in cores. Gets Hudson here. He's going to hit second. I like the 4K price tag here on Lamonte Wade.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Would also jump back in Vinny P. I still like the Royals, even though, they were a bit disappointing yesterday. But yeah, Lamonte Wade is the one that jumps out to me the most. I think the matchup against Hudson, even if it wasn't in Colorado at 4K, I would be intrigued by. So the fact that it is in Coors, against Dakota Hudson, I think this is just a really good matchup. And he probably is actually my favorite bat at price he comes in for this Rockies game.
Yeah, he's hitting 350 with a 900 OPS, and he's usually 3,400, which is why I mentioned him every show. He gets a slight bump when he should probably usually be a 4K first baseman and getting boosted to 4,600 today.
Yeah.
Great value. Going to hit in the early part of that lineup tonight against Dakota Hudson. And then obviously I'm always in on the Twins. So if you want to go Carolina for Carlos Santana, we'll mention a bunch of Twins as we move across the positions as well. Boomer bust. They just ended a 12-game win streak, on Sunday. So that offense was rolling for a bit. Happy to run it back with them as well.
Yeah, totally in on the Twins today against Emerson Hancock. Alex Kirilloff is not my favorite of them. He's probably not one of the ones or Carlos Santana that I'm putting within my Twin stack.
Sure.
But like, you're not stupid to go there if you're stacking Twins. I just like some of the other Twins guys better.
Are we trusting Dom Smith here off to a little bit of a good start in his Boston tenure? $2,500.
Yeah, I mean, it is so cheap, and so I could see it. I just what happened to him? Remember, he had that giant breakout. Was it the 2020 shortened season that he was
something just that? Yeah, awesome. And everybody thought he was the guy for the Mets, and then they tried to make him field. And I think when they realized he couldn't field, it kind of ruined him there. So.
Well, yeah, and it was okay when he couldn't field when he was hitting the ball well, but then he just hasn't hit the ball since that season. So I mean, again, it's 2,500. The Red Sox are a good lineup. If you have to save money, it's not crazy, but I just don't know if he's going to keep up even this 5 points per game that he's.
I agree with you. Second base position here again. Yeah, Mookie up at the top at 64. Basically, all the good Dodgers are 6K and up. Altuve, Albie is in that range, but as I mentioned, for me, Michael Massey's down here still at $3,300. So I don't really see a reason to go off of this guy right now when he's this hot and this cheap. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Obviously, I'd play Betts if I am doing that, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman stack. I don't dislike Edouard Julien as well if I'm doing a twin stack with him leading off. Mm-hmm. But if I'm not doing those two guys because I'm stacking with them, I'm playing Michael Massey. At this price, he's hitting the ball so well, batting fifth in that lineup. It's pretty easy. Yeah,
again, just the cheapness of there. Brendan Rodgers just hit lefties well, $3,800 if you wanted to attempt that. You do have Vaughn Grissom, little revenge game, $2,900 for Boston, hitting fifth tonight against Reynaldo Lopez, if you're kind of a believer in that. But I don't really find myself going much else. Nico Horner continues to hit the ball well, but any lineup I've built today is just kind of plugged in Massey and moved on, really.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with you.
Yeah. Third base position. Looking up at the top price guys here, McMahon against a lefty on lefty in Coors, 5,400. Austin Riley, Matt Chapman, Devers homered the other day, Arenado. What are your thoughts when it comes to the top end third baseman for this season?
Yeah, I don't love the top end, Ryan McMahon being this expensive. I don't want to pay more than Austin Riley and Rafael Devers for him, even in Coors. The lefty-lefty matchup, he does hit lefties okay, but still, this price just seems way too high for him. He's having a really good season. Don't get me wrong, he could provide here, but I still just think the price is too high. And I mean, yeah, Austin Riley and Devers are guys I like too, but I don't know if I see myself paying up at third base most likely today.
When we did the show yesterday, we pointed out Christopher Morel. He had the home run, and then it ended because Milwaukee didn't pitch to him. Padres did. He had a homer. So now he's got 4 homers in 5 games. As we talk about this dude, when he gets on these runs, you just play him until he stops. He's $4,400. Kind of feeling the same thing. They got Randy Vasquez on the mound here. I don't see that really ending too much for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of back in on the same guys that we liked in this middle tier yesterday, which is Morel and Muncy. I think that both of them provide just such good power and in good matchups once again today that they just are really good options. Yep. Also, breaking news, the Rangers just scored 10 runs in an inning against them.
I'm a little tilted because Adolis was up with the bases loaded, and I have him in a lot of fantasy teams, and he struck out. So,
oh, did he?
Yeah. It's always that one guy where the team scores 15 runs, and you go check the box here. You're like, how did my guy go 0 for 4? What happened? Yeah. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I saw Ross Stripling today. Not there for a long time, that's for sure. We got other mid-tier options under Morel. Anybody sticking out to you? I mean,
I would go Michael Garcia. For a long time, he was not a consideration because he was getting priced at $5K. But now that he's back down to 4,300 leading off, I'm willing to actually consider him again now because he is a good hitter, and I think it's been priced a little more appropriately finally. But under that, there isn't anyone that super jumps out at me. You could go Brett Beatty against Miles Michaelis. If you really want to look cheap, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of options that I like.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. We like Ober, so we're not going to go Rojas. That hit streak ended for him. Shortstop then. Mookie again, up at the top. Bobby Witt's there, who had a walk and 2 stolen bases yesterday. Got Tovar. What are your thoughts when it comes to the spending up at short today?
Yeah, I think if you're spending up, spend up and take Mookie Betts in your Dodgers or take Bobby Witt Jr. to stack with your Royals today. Like, if you're going to spend up somewhere, this seems like a pretty good place to do it. And I think I'm either likely doing that or I'm going down to my twins of Carlos Correa or Willie Castro. Like, those seems like my two ways to go today.
Yeah, obviously, again, we kind of like twins here. Correa, a couple of doubles the other day. Willie Castro, someone we rode for a while, cooling off a little bit the last two games here, but stolen base potential, certainly willing to run that back with him as well. I didn't really find that there was much other value at this position. I was kind of with you. One of the reasons, when you're looking to spend and kind of play around here, I went with Castro at $3,800 because I had Ohtani in my lineup. So he's like, when you have $6,500 and you're playing a 10K pitcher, you're trying to find some value spots. Had Massey, had Castro in my lineups today. So it was kind of where I was plugging. In the outfield, again, there is Ohtani at $6,500. Then you have Soto, Acuna, Judge. Like, what are your thoughts on spending up at the outfield position today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be sick with Ohtani. We already talked about how great he is, but like this matchup for him, I think still he's going to continue to hit awesome. And as much as I said I didn't believe in Verlander and like Cutter Crawford as far as wanting to pitch them, I don't necessarily want to stack against them either though, because like they're still really good pitchers. Like I don't think they have the strikeout upside and stuff, and it's shaky for actually like plugging them in as a pitcher. But they're really good pitchers still, and probably not going to allow a whole ton of runs. So I don't really want to stack these top guys against them.
Yeah, I agree with you. That they're pitching too well to trust that kind of cost to go against them there for sure. Mid-tier range, anybody for you that you're looking to target?
Even this mid-tier, I don't love a whole lot either, just because a lot of them are like in some rough matchups. Yeah. Obviously, like I don't mind going down here to like Teoscar Hernandez. Obviously, if you're stacking some Dodgers at all, Brandon Nimmo has also still been hitting super well. So like leading off against Miles Michaelis, like a little small Met stack against Michaelis is not terrible, or even Nimmo's a one-off. He's been hitting so well.
Kepler at 42 down here. Again, if you're looking at some twins hitting cleanup. Wilder Brayu's been pretty good for Boston. He's 41. Larnach up to second in this matchup against Hancock at 4K. And then Pa has also 4K. The low 4K range certainly bringing some value.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the Dodgers and Twins outfielders are very much like the standouts in the outfield position for me today. Like most likely my three outfielders are going to all be from those two teams. I would maybe throw in a Nimmo, maybe throw in an Abreu for a one-off. I'm probably not like stacking them as much with guys, but they're good enough hitters. I'm going for it. But yeah, Dodgers and Twins just like stick out so much here, I think.
Yeah. Castro has that dual positional eligibility, so you could also play him in the outfield if you wanted to. You get Yastrzemski and Coors at $3,700.
Yeah,
I'm sure some people will be looking to go there just to get that Coors Field exposure. MJ Melendez has struggled, but he's $3,500 against Ray. Bouchard against Harrison's $3,500. Any other guys in this 3K below range for you?
Yeah, I hate that. Like, I still love stacking the Royals. And for a while there, it was like, well, clearly just go MJ Melendez and Nelson Velasquez when they're facing a righty. But both of them have been like real bad. Mm-hmm. I think MJ Melendez will be better. Nelson Velasquez worries me on a little larger level. He looked like really
small,
really
zero body of work there with Nelson Velasquez really well. At least Melendez has shown proven ability to be a major league hitter. So.
Yeah, exactly. But no, nothing in here interests me a whole lot. See, if you wanted to go Pete Crow Armstrong again, you could, but
you get the random Outman homer yesterday, off to a terrible start this year, but
yeah, he has been off to a terrible start, but I do like the homer. I think he is someone who is a good hitter. I think like we will see him dial it back up, and we saw it last year that he can go on tears where he's just amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't mind actually taking the chance after he hit a homer that he keeps it rolling and stacking with some of the Dodgers because he is so cheap.
You have back here, obviously, one of the better Rockies prospects got called up, has had no success so far in his 6 games, just 3 for 21 with 11 strikeouts, but righty versus lefty, get him in Coors here. This is his first home game, so maybe there's some magic there for him at 3K.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know if I want if I'm going to anything in that game, I'm probably going for the couple of the Giants hitters. Okay. The Rockies don't intrigue me against Harrison a whole lot.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's get a lineup build. Which of the top two you're starting with?
If I got to pick one of the top two, I'm going with Imanaga. Like, I don't think there's a wrong choice, but he's my favorite of the two.
All right, and then if we had to go Ober or Lugo,
Ober is my favorite of the two, but you can't go wrong. I really like both, and I do like building a lineup too, where you just go Ober and Lugo and go into the offense. But
yeah,
it's also hard to not take one of those top in Imanaga and Yamamoto because their upside is very high.
Agreed. All right, let's get a lineup build here again. Imanaga and Ober kick things off for us. Catcher position, where you want to plug?
I mean, you mentioned Stallings. I don't hate that. He is not like your super cheap punt play as we normally go at catcher, but I think he is the, I said I didn't want to go Rocky's bats. Like, I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but like the one-off Stallings, I'm okay with that.
Agreed. First base, you look kind of like Lamonte Wade down here at 4K. Does that work for you?
Absolutely.
All right. Second base, we were both in on Massey, so we get some savings.
Yep, easy.
4,200. Third base, where did you want to go?
Ooh, let's see. We're at 4,200. I kind of think you go either Max Muncy or Morel. I kind of lean Muncy, I think. I feel like I just want to get some of Dodger exposure here.
Sure. Yeah, Muncy works. Shortstop position now. Do we have a value? We had Willie Castro, right?
I would probably go Willie Castro. I think with the money we need to definitely save some, but neither of us liked anyone cheaper than Castro.
Agreed. And this kind of sets us up because the outfield had that 4K tier that we had some fans on. We can get our Twins stack going if we like Larnach or Kepler. Did you have a preference or both?
I mean, I like both. I think they both provide good value. If I had to choose one of them, I'm taking Kepler. I think he's the better hitter, but I'd plug both in as well.
All right, so if we did that, Cam saying Pages for the Dodgers stack. What do you think there?
I don't hate that. Has he been batting? I'm trying to think if you could have a true like Muncy Pages stack, because have they been batting him like 6th, 7th?
Yeah, he's been in the second half of that line, but obviously Muncy's been like 5, 6 or something like that. So could be some connection there.
Yeah.
4,200. Do we have a real low value outfielder that we were in on? I don't think we had like something super down here.
No, not really. Yeah.
I was gonna say we get a little hand cut. What if we move Muncy to get Ohtani in the outfield? Because 3,200. Do we have like a cheaper?
Cheap
Beatty is 29. Sure. $3,600 outfielder.
I mean, we could go MJ Melendez. He matched up with Massey. Yeah. I do still think he provides that power speed option. He will be better. So
sure. I think just getting Ohtani in there against Cabrera is like
exactly. Like, it's worth taking that downside with Melendez because Ohtani can score enough for both of them, even if MJ Melendez doesn't do anything.
Agreed. And then obviously, if you wanted to move off of Imanaga and get in Lugo, you'd have a whole lot more money to play around with there. So, guys, just an example lineup for you here today. Shota Imanaga, Bailey Ober, Jacob Stallings, Lamonte Wade, Michael Massey, Brett Beatty, Willie Castro, Max Kepler, Shohei Ohtani, and MJ Melendez there. Getting that Ohtani spend up, getting the Shota show at 10-3, a couple of mid-tier guys that we like. You can make sure you check out the Discord for all updates to today's playbook and get us on Twitter there as well to guys get you ready for tonight's main slate. Tomorrow, I believe we have we have a big slate tomorrow, actually, if I remember. Okay. But it's split between the early and late. So the preview show will cover the early slate. We'll do a live show at 4 p.m. to cover the late slate, which probably will start at 6:30 based off this, but that's all TBD. So make sure you check out our Fantasy Slam YouTube page for the schedule. You'll see the scheduled shows ready to go for tomorrow. If not, you know where to find us on Twitter and in the Discord. Good luck with your lineup builds, everybody, today. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll catch you all later.